Hey, people. All right. I know there's no one actually there, but my whole family's here, so that's fun. Okay. So I found out something fun while we were gone. I figured out why when we did all that work earlier that this didn't actually change at all.
Wait,
The
is this what you stream?
Yeah, I stream my game design. It's not fun. No one watches. I'm doing it for purely so that I have it later, and I'm gonna make highlight reels. And if someone ever did want to watch, I'd wonder why they were watching, but I'd be happy to have the viewer, and I would talk to them.
Yes!
They would be my new friend.
We get $5.
You don't get any $5. What are you talking
He's
about?
already started streaming.
Okay. So, anyways, what I'm trying to say is the reason that this didn't do anything when we did all that work earlier is because we're not actually using that same material. He's using obviously the Quixel bridge that we were using, but now they updated it to Fab, so our entire material, and he even showed this in the video, like when you click on this and you go down to the material, you click this, you look at its parent is different. Our parent is this one. So, do I have a solution for that? No. But I have a video. So, I'm like going way deep into this, and it's not really the goal of my game at all, but I am determined to figure this out, and I think it's a good opportunity if anyone watches this for like an employment standpoint to see how I deal with solving problems when I can't solve them with just a simple tutorial that I'm already watching.
Now save everything and go back to our level. Select our landscape detail. In our landscape detail, under virtual texture, we create two elements to draw in virtual texture and assign them with the virtual texture we made for environment. And we have material and object here as well. Let's go to its master material. We are going to blend the original material with the texture that we captured with and subtract landscape in all our alpha. Let's take a look at it before we bring our virtual texture.
I wonder, hold on. See, because this is a really weird... Hold on, let's pull up the other video, because I think that there's...
off is we just change it on the child, and we don't even have to modify that parent material. So all the setup that we have here, it's going to apply to every single other asset we bring in if we want it to. But it just occurred to me, before we modify this, it's probably a good idea that we back up that material. So let's right click on it and let's duplicate.
I wish we could make it so the default material was the material for this. That would obviously do it better, but it doesn't seem like... I'll show you guys what I tried. So I thought to myself, okay, well, what if we just use that material? What do we call it? How do we label that? MS default, right? Oh, I have a baby. He does not want me. Okay, we gotta... So when I do that, you'll notice it does do something, but it leaves that bottom area all black. I have to take my baby out of here. I'll be right back. Okay. Hey, Dad. I'm in the middle of my stream, so... Okay, so, anyways, you can see it sort of does do something, but it leaves this, you know, like it's just not doing the right thing. I'm wondering, is that because it's the wrong thing, or is it maybe something else I did wrong? Maybe we should try this again.
And I'm just going to call it backup at the end. And that way, just in case we mess this up, we always have that backup to refer to. So let's set up this MS default material to receive our virtual texture input. So I'm going to move this material.
Oh wait, and that's not right actually what I just did. It's so confusing. Okay, so this we want to revert to what it is, right? Then we want to double click in here, and then we want to go MS default material. Okay. But in either circumstance, it gives us this. And I think maybe this could be solved with... let's see if we can solve it with... Maybe I did just make a mistake there. Okay.
Node out a little bit, and I'm going to right click, and we're going to do a blend material attributes node, and then I'm going to right click, and I'm going to search for virtual texture sample parameter, and this is what's actually going to receive the virtual texture data, and I'm going to name this VT landscape height underscores in between. Move this over here. So now we need to get the world position of our mesh that we're bringing into the world. We've done this many times before. So if we right click, search for world position, we drag off a pin, component mask, we're just going to get our Z value, which is our third channel, our B here. And then we're dragging off a pin of this mask and we're going to subtract. And what we're subtracting from is, I'm just going to rearrange these a little bit, is the world height from our landscape. And we need to set this up so that if the object is scaled up or scaled down, it's still going to act appropriately in the world. So if we right click and we search for object bounds, and again for this, we're just going to get the height. So let's do a component mask. Again, just select the B value. And then from the subtract, we're going to do an addition. You could just type plus sign to get an add node. Connect that up. Now we need to set a threshold for when the blending starts and when it stops. So we're going to drag off from this mask. And we need a multiply. You could just type an asterisk to get the multiply. And I'm going to move this down below. And then we need to hook up our multiply node to a scalar parameter. So if I hold S and click, get our scalar parameter. And I'm going to call this our virtual blend height. And I'll hook that up. I'm going to set a default value of 1.1 for that. So now I need to control the sharpness of it, very similar to our height layer that we did last episode. So if I drag off add and I do a subtract, just do a minus sign, that'll do it. We'll hook up this multiply, and then from the subtract we're going to do a divide, and that's going to determine the sharpness of this blend. And if I hold S and enter, so we're going to call this scalar parameter virtual blend sharpness, and this I'm going to give a default value of 50. Almost done with this piece. So drag off from our divide. We're going to do a saturate node. Now we're going to reposition everything a little bit. So we're going to drag all this over a little bit. We're going to move our blend material attributes and our default material out. We're going to hook all of this up to our alpha. Let's actually make even more space here. So I want to separate the things that we know are the standard from the things that are new here. And there we go. Move these in. And we can also do a comment on all this. So let's highlight all of it in adjustments, and that's going to be the B. And then from blend material attributes, we can hook that up to the default material. And what are we blending with? Well, we're blending with our landscape, right? So this has to be what gets our landscape. But before that, we see we got an error under VT landscape height. So if you select that node, correct that, we could save our material. So now let's set up our landscape blending. If you right click and search for runtime virtual texture sample parameter, and we're going to name this VT material landscape. So this is going to be the reference to our landscape material. But we can't blend our base color, specular roughness, etc. into here because we need an actual in-between for our material attributes. So I can right click and do make material attributes, and I can connect these all up. Base color, specular, roughness, normal, and I can hook up our make material attributes. And to fix this error, I just select the VT material landscape, and now I can choose our landscape material data. And now I'm just going to comment this. Highlight, C, folder, and whoa, look at that. It's my camera speed to be a little bit slower. And let's drag around our boulder, and whoa, look at that. We've got the material changing in real time as we drag it around. Looking down at it, looks pretty good, but then the problem is when I'm looking out, whoa, the coloring is totally off. And this is that Fresnel problem that I was talking about at the start of the episode. So, to be honest, it took me like half an hour just to troubleshoot this one issue on my end. I played around with camera settings, all sorts of stuff. And at some point I might start streaming, and in which case you'll see me fumbling around like crazy. But the short answer is the problem is in our landscape material. There's this Fresnel effect. And Fresnel, what it basically means is how much light reflects off a surface based on the angle you're looking at the thing. So based on the angle of our landscape, it's basically much brighter. And then if I look at it from below, then it's basically the same color as our rock here. But that's a problem if it's reflecting differently than any static meshes that we bring into the world. So we really got to fix that. So let's go into our landscape material. And I think I still have it open here. And I'll show you where this is coming from. So if you go back into our material function that we created last episode, it's coming from, if you zoom over to this Fresnel, I guess it's French, I don't know. It's coming from all this. That's what's causing it. And so what I figured out is if you just want to keep this just for reference, it doesn't really hurt to have it there. But if you hook up the multiply node here in our landscape function directly to the base color, and you save that, it's just going to take a few seconds to compile shaders. But let's take a look, see if that fixes the coloring. Yeah, and so now the coloring of our landscape, it's actually a lot closer matching to the static meshes. But there's still an issue here because if I zoom in close, I can see it. So there's certain parts of our mesh where it basically goes vertical. So like if I zoom in very close, you see this? This is called texture stretching. And the reason is that it's not looking at the texture in a three-dimensional way. It's just reading it.
Yeah, see, I need to figure out, it's just not going to work this way. I need to do something with this, but look how different this is, you know? Like, I probably have to double-click this. Oh, okay. Never mind. Okay, now I see. So I could probably do something with this. Okay. It's just, it has like almost like a function thing set up so that it like feeds it all into this somehow, whatever this is. And then this can be brought up over here and fed into here. So this one's fed through the metallic, this one's fed roughness. Okay, so we do have a route here. It's just, it's gonna be difficult. Okay, so let's go back to this into here. Put this as, we'll just revert back to normal. Oh, whoops, revert. Uh-oh. Okay. So in the function, where's the function? No, it's right here. Okay. In the function, I guess we can leave that the way we did it, right? Oh, no. We want to hook up this to here. Alright, that should be good for that. And then for this thing, okay, it's its default, but then this one should be like base. I think it said base color. Oh boy. Oh, it says it. MMS underscore base. Well, why is it not pulling it up? This is what we were using, right? I've really messed it up this time. Underscore MS underscore V. It doesn't have it. Oh boy. No. Don't save. For the record, this is my life right now. All that noise you hear, that is just like, I don't know what I would do if that noise stopped at this point because I'm so used to it. There's always some kind of routing that's going on in my life, making it difficult to work. Alright, so, anyways, let's see, where are we at? We still got this boy over here. We want that. No, quit. Get out of here. We want to go into his materials. Same default material now. Base. Come on. MMS. MMS. Do I have anything MMS? It's like it doesn't exist, man. I don't know how. Like, it's just not showing up. I wonder if I just pull in a new because what did I do? Fab, make scans, 3D, Nordic Boulder, raw, static mesh. We go into here, as default material. I mean, here's what I think I can do. This is dumb. I can't believe this. But, okay, so if you run into stupid stuff like this, delete it. Right? Force delete. Right. Oh no. Okay, we're gonna force delete it. Okay, and then we're gonna go back to the content, MS presets, default material. Oh no, it's already got all these references in here for this too. And I don't have the backup for some reason. It didn't save the backup when I closed it. Ah! Okay, so now what do I have to do? I'm gonna have to go back into Fab, right? Fab. Nordic Boulder, I believe. Yes, this is what we're working with. Add to project. So now we should have like the default for that if I did it right. And it's raw quality, so we're good. Might take it a minute. All right. What is these notifications? Do not disturb on. Ooh. My ADD is kicking in. Clear all notifications. Okay. Get rid of that. Eventually it's going to import this thing. I can't believe how long it takes. It's still going. Oh my gosh. I can't imagine if I had to upload, like, I'm sure I'm going to have to upload a lot of more of these in time. This better be, like, the coolest map for my character to be in. You know, especially since I'm probably going to be changing a lot eventually. This isn't even the map that we're going to end up using, really. I was just trying to create a test map. That's all I wanted. Okay, so now we dry that out, we have everything we need again. And then it's got this MMS space. I don't know where that was going. And now we have all these things that we can edit. Okay, So now we need to look at what he did and try and figure out where it's going to go based on what he did. So this is very difficult. So we created our runtime fixture. Yeah, and then okay. So we're going to go back in his video a ways, and then I'm going to try and learn. Basically, I'm going to have to learn what he's doing and then try to apply it over here, because he's got base color texture, he's got specular, tag, normal, height textures, and then they come in over here in this virtual texture area. I almost think this is going to be easier.
Click to go into that.
And my internet's being bad. So that's wonderful. That explains why it was taking so long to import that, though.
Matching to the static meshes. But there's still an issue here, because if I zoom in close, I can come down to scale, very bottom one, so you get your entire to the base color, specular to the specular. For example, for this mesh here, we want to be able to receive our landscape data at that point and then apply it up to first scale here, existing setup. That's fine. That's all generating appropriately. But it also needs to communicate out what's going on. So we need to drag out an additional pin here, and we're going to break material attributes, because we have to communicate what's going on here into our virtual material. And now we have to hook this up to a runtime virtual texture output node. Runtime virtual texture output. And then we have to hook up all the stuff we need. The base color to the base color, specular to the specular, roughness to the roughness, and normal to the normal. Now we also have to tell it the world height of our landscape. And so what we're going to do for that is, if we search for our world position, always comes in as
okay, so we've got all these attributes, the base color, specular, roughness, and normal. Then we want to, so we broke those up already in this one, though, I feel like, right? They're already broken up.
absolute world position, but we search for world position. And remember how we just got the third channel, the Z, really the B here. So we're going to do a mask, but it's actually a component mask. And we can unselect the R and the G and just select the B. And we can hook that up to our world height here. Now I can save our landscape material.
I think we take absolute or world position, right? And then we take the Z of that into the world position offset. What happens now if we use that? I don't know what happens yet. We're gonna find out. This is a lot of it for me right now. I'm learning. I'm trying to enjoy the process. And see something weird there, right? It's see how it's got some brown stuff in there? I think maybe that means it's sort of making, but it's world position offset, so it's not. Wait, shouldn't this have gone back since this isn't connected now? Okay. So yeah, I don't know if that's right or not. Let's see.
So now that we set up our landscape material to send out the virtual height map data, now we need to come back into our world and set up our landscape to receive that data. So if you go into your world outliner and you go under landscape and select your very top one and make sure you hold shift, select the very bottom one so you get your entire landscape. And then we need to
wait, so which one were we in?
Position, but we search for world position.
Landscape. So I think we've actually, I don't need to do this in here. I need to go here, get rid of that. It's into the garden landscape, and I had already done that. That explains why. Okay, because you don't need the world height. That's the world offset.
And remember how we just got the third channel, the Z, really the B here.
So we've already done that.
So now that we set up our landscape, it's going to be our VT materials, that two virtual textures.
Okay, so
two of the materials listed here. So they use the default material and this default fuzz material. I think the fuzz is like moss growing on a rock or something like that. So those are the only two of this list that we're going to have to update with this trick. But by the end of this episode, you're going to know how to update any of them that you need. So let's go into our MS default material. But before we start modifying MMS default material, how did I know that this was the material that we want to turn right we want it to? Have that backup to refer to. So let's set up this MS default material to receive our virtual texture input. So I'm going to move this material node out a little bit, and I'm going to right click, and we're going to do a blend material attributes node. And then I'm going to right click, and I'm going to search for virtual texture sample parameter. And this is what's actually going to receive attributes node. And then I'm going to right click, and I'm going to search for virtual texture sample parameter. And this is what's actually going to receive the virtual texture data. And I'm going to name this VT landscape height underscores in between. Move this over here. So now we need to get the world position of our mesh that we're bringing into the world. We've done this many times before. So if we right click, search for world position, we drag off a pin.
Actually, I've got you. I can skip a bunch of this because I'm obviously doing the same thing here as I would have done here. So I can just select everything in here. You're watching me.
You
You have a subscriber or you have a viewer.
Oh, wow, we have a viewer. We have our first viewer. Hello, viewers. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate you. And even though you are my family and you're obligated to love and support me, I still appreciate it. So, if anyone else comes in here, just know you are no longer my first viewer. I apologize. They took that from you. Blend material attributes. Okay. So, blend material attributes. Okay, so how do we plug these in here? We want to go, here's the thing, so it's pulling the textures. This is like the normal, the albedo. Oh, look at this, it's actually all those things. Albedo, metalness, DR, and normal go all into the adjustments, okay, and then it goes into this blended material attributes.
Did you not close it? Why do you guys not close the fucking bathroom?
Okay. That language from my wife, you know, unacceptable. I don't know why she does that. Okay, so anyways, A for that, alpha for this, and then we need all of these to come into an MF object.
Quit it. What are you doing?
Right, and then we want to bring in the albedo, the metallic, the roughness, and metallic, and normal. Do we have a normal somewhere? Normal. Here we go. And these all go into B. And then B,
Component mask, we're just going to get our Z value.
and then this goes into material attributes somehow. Oh boy, this doesn't work. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of that. What do we plug into here? We want all of these into here, but then we need this to connect to something as well.
Value, which is our third channel, our B height. Things that are new here. And we're going to just select the VT material landscape at the point where we could start testing this.
So this goes into material attributes. Is there a material attributes in here somewhere? to get all the material attributes, but I can't get all of these. I'm very, very unsure. Blend material attributes. It's supposed to be getting all of it, so it's supposed to get the base color.
Save.
Let me look at this one again. Maybe this was more helpful. Okay, so you've got the albedo, you got the metalness, you got the DR, which goes into the roughness, and you've got the normal. But then they all go into here, and this just goes into this simple one. How do you get this node? I wonder if there's a way if I just type material. Nope. It's what we return. That's the thing. Right? Like this is what it's getting. It's something like this with all of this stuff, but what we want is just a simple. So how did we get this when we did it? Because we created this one, right? Blend material attributes. And then we brought it out to there. And that was in the last video. Okay.
And
we don't have time to do this tonight, but I need to go to the last one, that really long one, and I need to find this section. So that will be our goal for tomorrow. And I appreciate you for watching, family, anyone else who decides to show up. And yeah, have a